One of the hardest parts about trading is that progress rarely looks the way you expect it to. Most people think becoming profitable feels obvious. They imagine a moment where everything suddenly clicks. The losses disappear. The confidence arrives. The account starts growing. And from that point forward, everything becomes easier. But that is not what usually happens. In reality, profitability often approaches quietly, so quietly that many traders completely miss the signs. They think they are still failing when they are actually closer than they have ever been, because the first signs of profitability are rarely financial. They are psychological. They show up in your habits, your decisions, your reactions, your ability to control yourself when emotions start demanding chaos. And that brings us to the first sign. You no longer feel the need to trade all the time. This is a bigger milestone than most traders realize. There was a time when you felt uncomfortable being out of the market. You needed action. You needed movement. You needed to feel involved. If nothing was happening, your mind would start creating opportunities that did not actually exist. But now something has changed. You can sit there and do nothing. You can watch the market move without feeling the need to chase it. You can miss trades without feeling emotional pain. That is a huge sign of growth because profitable traders understand that opportunities are endless. Emotional traders behave as if every move is their last chance. The second sign is that losses hurt less, not because you enjoy losing, not because you became emotionless, because you finally understand that losses are part of the business. You stop reacting to every losing trade as if something has gone terribly wrong. You stop treating losses as personal attacks. You stop allowing one red trade to destroy your confidence for the rest of the week. That emotional stability is incredibly important because fear becomes weaker when losses stop feeling catastrophic. And when fear becomes weaker, execution improves. The third sign is that you are becoming more interested in process than profits. This is where many traders begin separating themselves. In the beginning, all you think about is money, how much you can make, how fast you can grow the account, how quickly you can change your life. But eventually you realize that obsession is actually hurting you. Now your focus shifts. Instead of asking, how much money did I make today? You start asking, did I follow my rules today? Instead of obsessing over outcomes, you start evaluating behavior. That shift changes everything because consistent behavior eventually creates consistent results. The fourth sign is that revenge trading is becoming harder for you to justify. Years ago, after a loss, your emotions would immediately start negotiating. Take another trade, recover it. Do not end the day red. Do something, anything. But now there is a different voice, a calmer voice, a voice that recognizes emotional danger. You start catching yourself before the damage happens. You notice frustration sooner. You recognize desperation sooner. You become aware of emotional instability before it controls your actions. That awareness is one of the strongest signs of growth because self-awareness creates self-control, and self-control creates consistency. The fifth sign is that your patience is improving. Not fake patience, real patience, the kind where you genuinely do not mind waiting. You stop staring at charts trying to force opportunities. You stop feeling pressure to be in a trade. You stop treating inactivity like failure. Most traders never realize how much money and patience cost them. Bad entries, poor timing, overtrading, chasing, forcing, all of it comes from the inability to wait. When patience starts becoming natural, profitability often gets much closer because patience protects you from emotional mistakes. The sixth sign is that you recover faster after bad days. This one is huge. In the past, one losing day might have affected you for an entire week. You would carry frustration into future trades. Your confidence would disappear. Your emotions would stay elevated. Now something's different. You still feel disappointment. You still feel frustration, but you recover quicker. You bounce back faster. You do not stay emotionally trapped inside mistakes for long. That resilience matters because trading is not about avoiding setbacks. It is about surviving them without losing yourself. And the seventh sign is perhaps the most important of all. You are becoming harder to shake emotionally. The market still surprises you. Losses still happen. Winning streaks still happen. but your reactions are changing. You are calmer during wins, calmer during losses, calmer during uncertainty. You no longer feel the same emotional extremes. Your confidence is becoming less dependent on outcomes. Your discipline is becoming more stable, and your decisions are becoming less emotional. That is often the final stage before consistency begins appearing, because profitable traders are not people who predict perfectly. They are people who remain emotionally stable while uncertainty exists. That is what most beginners misunderstand. Profitability is not simply a technical achievement, it is a psychological transformation. The charts may look the same, the setups may look the same, but the person placing the trades has changed completely. You stop trying to force the market. You stop trying to control every outcome. You stop needing every trade to validate you. And that emotional freedom creates clarity. Many traders quit during this stage because they think they are still failing. They look at their account and focus on what has not happened yet. They focus on how far they still need to go. What they fail to see is that their behavior is already changing. Their habits are already changing. Their psychology is already changing. And in trading, that usually comes before the money, because the market rewards behavior long before it rewards results. The truth is, profitability rarely arrives like an explosion. It usually arrives like a sunrise, slowly, quietly, almost unnoticed, one habit at a time, one disciplined decision at a time, one emotional victory at a time, until one day you look back and realize something important. The reason you are finally becoming profitable has very little to do with finding the perfect strategy, and everything to do with becoming the kind of trader who can consistently execute one. And that realization catches most traders by surprise. Because when you first started this journey, you probably thought trading was about finding answers, the perfect strategy, the perfect entry, the perfect indicator, the perfect mentor. You thought profitability was hidden somewhere on a chart, somewhere inside a setup, somewhere inside a secret that other traders knew and you did not. But after enough losses, enough mistakes, enough nights staring at your account, wondering what you were doing wrong, something begins to change. You slowly realize that the market has been teaching you the same lesson over and over again. The strategy was never the hardest part. The hardest part was you, not because you are incapable, not because you are not smart enough, because you are human. And humans bring emotions into everything: fear, greed, impatience, hope, frustration, ego. The market takes all of those emotions and turns the volume up. That is why trading feels different from almost everything else. A normal job does not expose your psychology the way trading does. A normal job does not make you question yourself after a bad decision that cost you money. A normal job does not force you to sit alone with uncertainty every single day. Trading does. And if you stay in this game long enough, you begin noticing something interesting. The traders who eventually make it are not always the most talented. They are not always the smartest. They are not always the ones with the most advanced strategies. Many times they are simply the ones who refused to quit improving themselves, the ones who kept learning from their mistakes, the ones who became emotionally stronger every time the market knocked them down. That is why another sign you are getting close to profitability is that you have stopped looking for shortcuts. This is a huge shift, because beginners are obsessed with shortcuts. They want to know the best strategy, the best indicator, the best time frame, the best entry model. Everything revolves around finding an easier path. But traders who are maturing begin to understand something uncomfortable. There is no shortcut around discipline. There is no shortcut around patience. There is no shortcut around emotional control. Those things must be built slowly, painfully, repeatedly. And once you accept that reality, your entire approach changes. Now you stop searching frantically. Now you start refining, improving, simplifying, mastering. That is when growth accelerates, because energy is no longer being wasted chasing every new idea. It is being invested into becoming better at the fundamentals. Another sign you are getting close is that you are becoming less emotional after wins. Most people expect profitable traders to handle losses better. But very few people realize they also handle wins better. This is important because emotional wins can be just as dangerous as emotional losses. A big win creates excitement. Excitement creates overconfidence. Overconfidence creates carelessness. Carelessness creates losses. That cycle destroys countless traders. You have probably experienced it yourself. One amazing day, everything feels easy. You feel unstoppable. Then suddenly your risk increases. Your standards drop. Your patience disappears. And within days, the profits are gone. But when you are getting closer to profitability, something changes. You start treating wins the same way you treat losses, calmly, objectively, without turning them into emotional events. That emotional balance is powerful because it keeps you grounded, and grounded traders make better decisions. Another sign is that you are no longer trying to prove anything. This one takes years for many traders. In the beginning, there is always something to prove. Maybe you want to prove people wrong. Maybe you want to prove you are capable. Maybe you want to prove you can become successful. Maybe you want to prove you belong in this industry. That emotional need creates pressure, and pressure creates bad decisions because now every trade carries extra weight. Every loss hurts more. Every mistake feels bigger. Every setback feels personal. Eventually, mature traders let go of that burden. They stop needing the market to validate them. That emotional freedom changes everything. Now, a trade is just a trade. A win is just a win. A loss is just a loss. Nothing more, nothing less. And once that happens, clarity improves dramatically because emotional attachment stops clouding judgment. You know what else starts happening when profitability gets closer? You become more protective of your mental energy. This is a subtle shift, but it matters. You stop spending hours watching random opinions online. You stop consuming endless trading content. You stop jumping between systems every week. You stop filling your mind with noise because you finally understand that clarity is valuable. Most struggling traders are overwhelmed. Too many indicators, too many mentors, too many opinions, too many conflicting ideas. Their mind becomes crowded, and crowded minds struggle to make clear decisions. Profitable traders simplify, not because simplicity sounds good, because simplicity works. The clearer your mind becomes, the clearer your execution becomes. And the clearer your execution becomes, the more consistency begins appearing. That consistency is important because consistency is what profitability is built on, not occasional brilliance, not lucky streaks, consistency, the ability to repeat good behavior over and over again. That is what the market rewards. And perhaps the biggest sign of all is this: you are starting to trust yourself again, not because you win every trade, not because you never make mistakes, because you know you can handle mistakes without falling apart. That is real confidence, not believing you will always win, believing you can remain disciplined regardless of what happens, believing you can take a loss without revenge trading, believing you can have a bad day without destroying a good month, believing you can survive uncertainty without abandoning your process. That confidence is different. It is quieter, less emotional, more mature, and it is usually built through years of struggle, years of lessons, years of painful experiences that forced you to grow. The truth is, profitability often arrives long after you stop feeling like a beginner. It arrives after the ego has been humbled, after the bad habits have been exposed, after the emotional chaos starts fading, after discipline becomes part of who you are instead of something you constantly fight to maintain. That is why so many traders miss the signs. They are looking for proof in their account balance. Meanwhile, the real evidence is already showing up in their behavior, in their patience, in their emotional control, in their decision making, in their ability to walk away, in their ability to wait, in their ability to remain calm when everyone else is panicking. And when those things start becoming natural, profitability is often much closer than it appears. Because by that point, you are no longer trying to become profitable. You are becoming the kind of person who can stay profitable. And that is a completely different goal One is about making money. The other is about becoming someone capable of keeping it. The market rewards the second person far more than the first.